What up, what up? This is Ray Grand, your host, and you're listening to The Ray Grand Show, where we talk about redefining a disability and overcoming. I've been paralyzed from 22 years from bacterial spinal meningitis. I know a few things. That's right. Thank you for listening, and let's get to it. Good day, people. This is the Ray Grand Show. Today we got a special guest, my good friend, David Brewington, CEO and founder of Youth Serum, also a disability advocate. We're going to talk to David and learn more about his story and understanding, the advocacy world and redefining disability. David, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, good brother? So first, let me thank you for inviting me to be a guest on your show. And let me say what's up to all your podcast fans.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, David. So, David, tell me a little bit about yourself. And also, I don't really like using the word disability. So I'll say, tell me about like the condition and how long you've been living with your condition and what's your day-to-day look like for you?
Okay, so first let me say I'm in agreement with you regarding the word disability. One of the things that I like to tell people when encountering me and engaging with me is I like for people to focus on my abilities as opposed to the disability. So I just like to take that out of the equation, focus on what I can do as opposed to what I can't do. Because I'll shock you. All right, so your first question was, what does my day-to-day activity consist of, being someone with challenges, physical challenges?
Exactly. And what are those physical challenges? Like what are they?
So I have what is known as retinitis pigmentosa. It's an eye disease that affects the pupil, where the individual does not receive enough light to his pupil. So as the specialists say, the best way to describe it is like a Polaroid picture. Now, this is like old school, where you got to wait for the picture to develop, and it requires light in order for the picture to become clearer. So unfortunately, my pupils don't get enough light, so this is why the vision is distorted. So it not only affects that, it also affects your side vision and night vision, and it affects like reading and things of that nature. And for men, most men of color are said to have some type of color blindness, and this is something that's also associated with the disability.
Wow.
So for me,
I never knew that. Like I never knew it. Man, I've known you for over 20 years. I never knew the details of that. Wow.
So like I said initially, I am like in the business of proving people wrong. So like when the medical assessment or evaluation, the definition says, okay, this is what this person's going to undergo. I'm kind of like an overachiever. So anything they said I wasn't going to be able to do, I've done it in my own way, or I've adapted to the situation and like developed little techniques to get me through where the medical assessment says that I wouldn't be able to. So it's rather complex. However, I had like a blueprint early on in life because I have an elder uncle that's afflicted with the same eye condition. So I watched some of the highs and lows of his life, and I watched him battle with it. He's done very well, and he's still like fighting right alongside me. He's a little older. He's like I think like 86 now, but he's still doing what he can. Whereas his vision is concerned, he's still living independently in his own home. He has to receive some, I say, some reasonable accommodations and some PCA, personal care assistance, in which my mother supplies that for him and other family. And that's not just due to the eye condition, it's due to just old age as well.
You know,
Yes. So
he did make some good choices.
yeah, so tell me about the so from a doctor's point, they would say you're technically legally blind. And so
Yeah. Mhm.
how did you because you said you navigated through that. Like for
Mhm.
me, being paraplegic and um overcoming that, like there's so many things that I overcame and figuring things out, but like I couldn't imagine, like, how do you figure that out? Like, what does that look like? Because even when you explained the Polaroid process, I was like, wow,
Mhm.
that's pretty descriptive, and which is something new to me. And I knew you for quite some time, so I just learned that today. So explain to me, how do you navigate through that process? Because I know for sure, like, when I sent you packages,
Mhm.
the UPS and
Mhm.
your computer sometimes with
Mhm.
the programming, it can be frustrating.
Mhm.
What are those little nooks and cranny things that you figured out to navigate through um, the condition?
So
What does that
what
look
I
like?
found is you have to like experience these, these barriers, these tasks before developing strategies to deal with them. So it's like you have to develop discipline strategies for yourself. So what I find is the situation has to occur before you make any changes. So like early on in life, I was aware that I had an eye condition. I wore glasses, and like with most children and their peers and their elders, they figured that the glasses, the eye care, the eye is going to basically correct the situation. However, it did while we was growing up, but part of the disease is it deteriorates like at a slow rate, but like within like 10 years, every 10 years, something of that nature. So the even though there's a medical assessment, it's a individual diagnosis. So each individual is affected by it differently. So me and myself, I realized that at a young age, I say about the time I was an adolescent, I had more problems navigating through the dark, and I found that when we played basketball and baseball and things of that nature, I could not catch like the baseball if I'm out in field because I couldn't keep track of the ball. I would lose focus on it. So it's like say associated disease that comes with the retinitis pigmentosis, like an astigmatism where your eye jumps, and so that throws off your focus as well. So I had to like again develop like little techniques, little strategies to deal with it because I didn't want my peers to know that I had like kinks in my armor because when you're very competitive when you're growing up, you don't want to show any signs of that.
Yeah,
So I just had to become better at other aspects of the game, like where softball and baseball was concerned. So I've always been a good athlete, like running and things like that. So if I could hit the ball I could have to run faster than most to get to the base. And so whereas outfield is concerned, um, I was limited. So I'd probably play like the first base or something like that, where I can keep track of the what's going on with the ball because it's closer in proximity as opposed to being out in the field. But sometimes I would pitch the ball so I could be control of the ball. But once they hit the ball, it was basically like I had to like step aside once I pitched to make sure the ball wasn't going to come gunning back at me from the person that's hitting the ball.
yeah. So let's
Basketball. hmm
so not to
So.
sorry to cut you
hmm
off. So I wanna paint a picture. So let's just say right now today, how does it look? David has to go to the grocery store. Like, how
hmm
does that, like, walk me through that process? Like, do you use a cane? or how, and you said you see when it's light, like, so how can like, for me, I still don't get it. Like, so say, like, it's almost like if I would explain somebody that with me in a wheelchair being paraplegic, how does it feel? It feels like me sitting on concrete, you know, my butt sitting on concrete for 24 hours. That's how much pain I'm in, that I may experience. And it also feels like I'm trapped in my own body. I feel like a prisoner in my own body. Like I want to get out, and I just got to get out. I'm like struggling to get out, and this wheelchair is like strapping me down. So can you paint a picture of like, what does it look like? What does it feel like? Or what doesn't it give me like a descriptive example of you walking to the grocery store, picking out your groceries, or it is a cane, or like, how does the world feel? How does it, like, I don't even know, like, how, like,
all right.
you feel me?
So I try to be brief. I'll be brief, give you a brief description. So as I navigate through my community, you know, and surrounding communities, it's more so like if somebody would be walking and like if you was walking in a haze. So like say on a sunny day, and if you don't got if you don't have sunglasses on, you're squinting, or you're trying to blink to adjust to the light or something like that. Or if you're walking in a fog, it's like that. So when I gave you the example of the distorted picture, it's just as that. The picture never truly develops to the point where it's sharp. So I'm walking around with distorted vision. I'm not seeing everything clearly. So I have a cane now, because as my vision continues to decline, I need to use my guide cane, which they call the white cane, with most blind people and people with visual impairments use. This is so I can remain as independent as possible. So when I go into the stores, before I used to navigate the aisles on my own, and I would have to get real close to see what I needed, like to read the prices or the labels on the product. Or if let's say that a certain distributor or manufacturer would change the label or the design of the box, now I'm lost because I know it to be one way and now they changed on me. So to avoid that headache and strain in my eyes, I've learned, you know, it's something that I learned while working at Multicultural Independent Living Center of Boston. Shout out to Tony Williams and Mac Williams. I got like a baptism by fire where Tony had told me something about reasonable accommodations, and where you can go into the store and you can ask for a reasonable accommodation in the form of visual assistance. So I go into the stores knowing that this is the law now, where I can request this, and the establishment has to provide me someone to help me navigate the store. So that has made my shopping experience a whole lot easier and less stressful. So this individual will serve in the capacity of as my eye, my guide. And they'll take me through the store. I usually write down a list beforehand using my CCTV, which is a closed circuit television. And I use black line paper with a 2020 pen, it really writes like a marker so that I can still see what I'm writing. Now to make my list, I go into the store. It shortens the time as well, because now someone that's mindful of both my condition and they know where the things are located in the store. Like I said, it makes the shopping experience more rewarding and less hectic.
Good.
So when I'm traveling,
that makes sense.
So
yeah.
So also when I'm traveling about throughout my community, let's say I go to appointments and stuff like that. Again, most of the time, basically I go it alone, or I use the ride, with a system for people with challenges, physical, mental challenges. So this transportation service basically takes us to and from our destination, gives us door-to-door services. So I utilize that for both work and for personal needs when I'm out and about.
Okay, can you touch on the fact of your senses and your discernment ability heightened? Because one time I remember going to
Mhm.
a conference and somebody that had visual impairment as well, and I met him,
Mhm.
and he's like, he said to me, this is not verbatim, but he said something to the fact
Mhm.
of, "Oh wow, you're just a great person. Great to meet you, Ray." And I'm like, and I just waved my hand. I'm like, how, I only said one word to the man, and he just said,
Mhm.
"Ray, you're a great person." And you got introduced. He's like, "Hey, this is Ray. This is I can't remember his name." And he's like, "Oh, you're just a great person." And he wasn't looking at me because I'm
Mhm.
literally, so I'm short. He's a little taller than me, so he definitely was
Mhm.
looking at like not even down. He was looking like over me, but he wasn't even looking at me in my vicinity. Um, so in my mind, I'm just being honest. In my mind, I'm like, can you see
Mhm.
me? Like, you know what I mean? Just even though
Mhm.
the person may be visually impaired, but in your heart, you're like, wow, does he see me? Did he feel like what?
Mhm.
Can you express that to me? Like, what is your discernment like? Like, walk me through that. Like, how does that feel when you're able to just feel somebody's vibe or spirit or energy? Like, what is that? Like, how is that?
So that's like our superpower, so to speak. It's like all your senses are enhanced. So a lot of times, if I know somebody's voice, if I met them prior to another encounter, now I know that person's voice. So it's like, okay, is that Ray? And then I would wait to hear you speak more if I'm not within your proximity. But then I say, oh yeah, that is Ray. I can tell by your tone and the way you talk. And then sometimes it's certain people wear a certain cologne or certain people's gait, the way they stand, the way they walk. You can make them out that way. That's for people that have visual impairment. Sometimes it's the way people approach you, like family. They know it's like a certain disability etiquette, whereas you would approach them in a certain manner. Like I've had people come up to me and grab me when I'm like walking, like through the train station and stuff like that. And they usually, when they do that, they like disrupt your method of navigation. So like a lot of times when I'm like traveling on the train, there's the yellow line, and I would take my cane and I rub it across the line so it makes like a sound like brrrt, brrrt. Now that is basically to indicate and notify to everybody else the way I see it, blind man walking. So whatever's going on, you hear that sound and it makes you want to tune in. But a lot of times you get people bless their heart, their heart is in a good place. Their intentions are genuine. They think that you're gonna walk off the track. But it's a strategy that I've developed. So I know the train track is on the right of me, and the crowd is on the left of me. So that's the way I navigate through that. But a lot of times, like I said, it's our sense of feel, our sense of smell that allows us to navigate and to locate on certain things. And also, we're fortunate to live in a time where they have a lot of visual assistance. Like they have a lot of this software that is designed to help you navigate and to do things. They have like color detectors that allow you to place the color detector on the item, and then it tells you what color it is. They have like other items in which if you're pulling water or some type of liquid into a cup, hot or cold, you place this item in there at the lip of the cup, the top of the cup, and it tells you when the cup is filled to its capacity so you don't overflow it. Also, they have things called bump dots. They're like gel dots, and you place them on your keyboard so you know where certain keys are. You place them on like remotes, let's say TV or the what you call it, the stove and the microwave and things of that nature.
How about did you
So
hear about the Did you hear about the
Hmm.
Google navigational one?
Yes, that's what I was getting to. So there's
That
another
new?
one now. It's like that you walks around with you. It's an app that you can put on your phone, and it guides you while you're in the community. So it's an extra set of eyes, or in some cases, that's your only set of eyes for the people that are totally blind. And it helps you navigate through the community. It tells you where you're going. You just have to hold the phone out in front of you, or they have these uh, I don't want to call them chains, but they're like things that you can put around your neck and you can place your phone in it, and now it just sits in it and you just walk, as opposed to holding the phone out in front of you. Because I had stressed that issue to some people when they brought it to my attention. I said, if you're holding the phone out in front of you and you're holding your chain out in front of you, that can be hazardous because you may drop your chain. Hold on one second. Alexa, stop. She was reminding me about our podcast. And that's another device that I've been using a lot with that device. It helps me like maintain like my meetings and things like that. So it's a lot of like adaptive software, visual adaptive software that it's making things easier on us, but still the public, you know, you have to teach everybody how to treat you.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you got people that, as I said, they're afraid to approach you because their encounters with other people. And it's to each his own, because everybody does things different when dealing with others. Me, I don't mind when people approach me and ask me if I need help, because more than likely, if I don't see you, you see me. I have no problem with it. Like I said, I've had people, grab me or come and approach me from which would some people might call a blind side. And I just, nicely tell them if I need the assistance, if I don't need the assistance. Or sometimes I just like to explain to them what I'm doing so they're more aware, because you're not certain if these people, you might encounter them again. And I usually speak loudly enough so others that are present can hear as well. So, everybody gets like a formal education, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah, that's good.
how I'm dealing with my situation.
So let's
So
talk
did that
about
answer your question?
yeah, let's talk. Yeah, that answers the question perfectly. Let's talk about that. So when it comes to like dealing with it, like so for me, I believe I will walk again. Like I don't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
I'm uncomfortable while I'm comfortable. It's like I'm not comfortable necessarily in my wheelchair. However, I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable in my wheelchair, and I don't really necessarily uh, like being in a wheelchair. However, I'm very grateful for this position God put me in, and how like what is the so for the feeling for me, I would feel like I'm on a mission. Like
Mm-hmm.
my drive with this disability, how most people call it, how I call it, the condition that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mission that I'm on, and I'm on a battlefield um, to do something great. What does that greatness look like? I'm not 100% sure. However, I know what it entails of me doing what I love to do, whether that's fashion, whether that's speaking life to people, whether that's building up my family, being a husband, a dad, a son, um, uh, a brother, so it's being the best person that I can be, despite the pain, despite all the stuff that I go through. Um, I I look at the positive, and I look at as this life as a mission to accomplish everything that I touch and do the best with excellence. So can you touch upon like how do you deal with it? Like how does it feel? Like for me, I know how it feels being in a wheelchair, but how does it feel to wake up and your vision and it's like that vulnerability? Like someone could look at me like, man, how do you do it? I'm not saying I'm used to it, but I kind of got the hang of it.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, I'm like, you probably got the hang of it, but not necessarily saying you want it. But
So
like, you deal with that
with me,
emotion.
so in my situation, quite like you, we have a lot of similarities. We're both blessed to be, Christians. We share the same faith. So I believe all our blessings come from above. And I truly believe that people with physical, mental conditions, as the public will put, people with disabilities, even though we don't like to use that word. Let's just say people with persons with afflictions.
Yeah.
I believe that we are God's chosen people. I believe that He's chosen us to endure a certain amount of suffering to be an example to others. So when I was younger, I was a little bit, angry and confused about why is this happening to me when I know that it's a disease that affects the men in my family, but why was I chosen, or why is it affecting me and my brothers? Why didn't God choose someone else to do it? But as I got older, I stopped looking for someone to blame, and I started like embracing it, and I became like I am an ambassador to my family. Whereas this condition is concerned, I've told myself through the grace of God that it's you could be in a situation, but don't allow the situation to become you. So I don't. Every day I pray that God gives me His unwavering strength, and so that I'm not overwhelmed or consumed by the condition. And I continue to try to be an example to others, because this affliction does not define me. It's just yet another task, trials and tribulations, something that I endure. And every day I wake up, looking at it as this is another day for me to prove all my doubters, wrong. So like I said, I'm up for the challenge. And I just pray that God continues to bless me, like I said, with His unwavering strength and, a high level of discernment. So I'm equipped and given blessings to deal with, I know these tasks that I'm going to, be faced with. So I don't look at it so much as people would say, a curse or something that happened as a bad thing. I look at it now and as this is just one, aspect of my life. This doesn't define me. As you said, I'm a father, I'm a brother, I'm a son, and I'm a teacher, So we have to teach people how to treat us, but also you have to tell the world, you have to show them and tell them who you are. A lot of times it's not enough to tell them. You have to show them. You got to lead by example. So, I just truly believe that God has chosen me and others to serve as examples to the world. And a lot of times I find that even from working at the Multicultural Independent Living Center of Boston, I was blessed to be in a position where I got to work with other individuals that had disabilities and provide services and advocate for people that felt like they did not have a voice, or they just didn't feel like they were strong enough to deal with what was ever put in front of them. So, I feel like God equipped me with a voice early on in life, and He didn't allow anybody or anything to stifle that or, suppress that blessing and those skills. And now I'm in a position where I said, as I can speak for others, because me and you've talked before, and I've stated to you, this is our life. It's not a uniform where we get to take it off and put it on each day. This is our skin. This is our life.
Preach. Preach, man. Preach.
So
no, that's deep. This is our life. That's deep. And a lot of times, that's what really, really motivated me to do this podcast. It's like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about our life, and what it looks like. And so people can hear it and do their best to digest it and do their best to understand it and be inspired and motivated and to do more. And I believe you don't have to prove anything to nobody. I strongly believe you've done it every single day by waking up and doing what you do. I think you've been doing more than what you really think. Let's talk about the youth serum. Tell the people more about the youth serum, because at the end of the day, I don't know. It's been 12, 10. It's been a long time. 15 years. I've known you, and do you have a master's degree too, right?
Well, I have my degrees are in human service, early childhood, and I'm a consultant. I'm a licensed consultant, and I'm still a disability and advocate. And I believe in speaking as is. So you just spoke something else in existence. I believe that you're prophesizing. So there must be a master degree in my future. So I'm gonna go ahead and claim that for myself. I'm gonna go ahead and receive that. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, because
so when that comes about, you will be there to celebrate that with me.
Yes, indeed. Because you do have the in my opinion, you do have the knowledge, and you're fully equipped in so many different ways. And continue to equip yourself to advocate for other people and to just do. Like you're a doer, and I always admire that. Somebody's like, okay, I want to do this, Ray. I got these shirts, and boom, this is my vision. And then you do it, you act on it. So I think that you're already a proven success model. I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we feel like if we don't get the one particular thing, it may feel like we're not per se successful because we haven't done X, Y, Z, or we don't have this yet. Being in business for so long, someone like you, with the condition that you have and what you have done in the community, what you have done in business, what you have done in articulating your vision, it's proven. You know what I'm saying? Think of it like this. What makes a proven author? Somebody who writes a book and tells their story. So you put that piece of paper to the pen, they told their story, and they packaged it, and then they gave it to the world. Whether it changes one life or 100 or 1,000,000, they're proven because their goal is to be who they are and to be the light. And I believe once you're the light, you are proven success, not in the eyes of men, in the eyes of God. And so that's how I see it. And so when I see you, I see that light. I see that that fruit and how you do things. I think that when you look at it from the world's perspective, it's a whole different game. It's like, okay, what's your bank account looking like? Do you drop this card?
Definitely is.
Yeah, and I think sometimes as believers or as people, sometimes people can get caught up in that. And I say, you know what? Forget that. Like, I don't really look at it like that.
So let me briefly touch base on USERM. So before I even do that, shout out to Ray Grant, and for all the podcast fans, if you haven't went out and purchased his book or had the opportunity to do so, you guys should go out and get that, because as he's talking about, a lot of times we get a chance to tell our story. So the way Ray did it when he's went out and wrote a book, and he's done he has his apparel and other things. I feel like that USERM is an extension of my life mission. So I feel like that's just yet another chapter. So some people write books, some people rap, another skill of mine. Some people write poetry. Some people, describe themselves, do dance. There's a number of ways to do it. So for me, my story is
my T-shirts. So youth serum with the apparel portion of the brand, I am my brand. So I am youth serum. I believe in it full-heartedly. Youth serum came about as a brainchild in college. We needed to come up with a business proposal, a small business idea. And so my thing was I've always been focused on the youth because I believe that we have to focus on the youth because they are the future. If you do not properly empower this youth, we are going to be the ones that suffer because one day we will need services from these young people. And if we do not properly prepare them, then we are responsible for the services that we will receive in the future from them. So I believe that youth serum helps empower the youth because it gives them a forum where they can speak openly about the day-to-day issues that they have to endure. And it's not about how we perceive things or how our parents perceive things or our grandparents. It's about how the current youth perceives things. So I just try to put empowering phrases on these shirts so that when they're out walking about or navigating through their communities, it's uplifting phrases. It tells people, okay, this is what you can do this too. You know, you might see this in passing and that shirt might make you smile. It might change your day. It might empower you. It might make you want to stop and talk to that individual that's wearing it and ask them where could they purchase one from. But that's the apparel part of it. Youth Serum also is a peer support group where I go into the schools and the local boys and girls clubs and YMCAs and talk to the children about disability awareness and about empowering the youth as a whole. Because my goal is to bridge the gap between children with and without disabilities. Because I feel that if they can see a man with my situation, my affliction depicted in another way as opposed to someone just needing help, I like to be the person that's providing the help to others because I want to empower people with and without disabilities, let them know if I can do it, then you can too. The sky is the limit.
Yes, sir.
So I don't want anybody to feel like that they are chained to their situation, that they can't break free of those walls or any type of bondage or captivity, because some of it is mental, some of it is environmental, you know, but they have to be shown something different. There used to be a saying, well, I'm not going to say there used to be a saying, there is a saying, reach one, teach one. You know, and that's what we need to focus on those things. That approach is not obsolete. It's just that it hasn't been utilized and reinforced in a manner in which it needs to. I try to target the unserved, underserved populations and communities of Boston and the surrounding cities. It doesn't matter if it's the minority or the majority. If you give me an opportunity, I come in and I try to make a difference in the youth that I am being trusted with, because I believe in, like I said, empowering them and giving them the tools so that they can navigate, you know, successfully and positively through life, you know, because they got a lot to deal with, and no one needs to lie to them and no one needs to mislead them. They need to be able to discuss what they believe is their truth. And it is their truth because it's their truth according to them. That's why the slogan is, "Youth Serum, the uncut truth according to today's youth," because their story is different from ours. There might be some similarities, but they are the ones who are currently living that life.
Now that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's phenomenal, man. I'm definitely with you in the mission, and I definitely understand the mission and how important it is to invest in our youth and speak life, and understand that what you wear is a representation of who you are, and it's important to wear something that's fly, and also something that speaks to a message that one believes in. And I support you, my brother, and I greatly appreciate all the work you're doing in the community, all the things that you've done thus far and continue to do, and striving on, pressing on, and praising on. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to watch, to be a part of. So I thank you. I thank you for that.
And vice versa, because what I've found is God has continued to surround me with people that I can have a positive give and take. Well, I can give something to others, and then I can take from others, and I can implement it. And you have truly been one of those individuals that God has placed in my life to, inspire me to, aspire to be greater. I watch what you guys do, and it's like, you know what? I'm proud of what they represent because that's what, I want to do. We have similar missions, and I feel like if I could take something from you and you could take something from me, and we can give back to one another, and then in extension give to our community and beyond, then the mission and the task that God has assigned to us, we're going to do it well.
Exactly.
And everybody is going to benefit from it. So I believe that, I don't subscribe to that crab in a barrel syndrome, where a lot of times people feel like that there's other people pulling you down and trying to climb over you to get to the next level. I believe in, if I'm able to ascend to a certain height, I believe in pulling others up with me, and I have no issues on what they call it, riding on the coattails or piggybacking on of others' success, because all I need is an introduction. All I need to do is be invited into the discussion, present me with a seat at the table, and if it means that Ray Grand or someone else is going to have to provide the introduction, then I'm going to show up and do what God assigned me to do.
Exactly. It's a win-win. I love it. I love it. And so if anybody wants to get in contact with David Brewington and use Serum, if they want to purchase or be a part of what you're doing, where can they find you at?
So I am definitely hands-on. So you can call me directly at 617-894-5273. That is my cell phone number. That is my work phone number. Rain, sleet, snow, shine, it doesn't matter. If I have to have any business hours, I would say they're between 9 to 6, but I'm always working except on Sunday. That's God's day. So,
yes, sir, yes, sir.
I have to recharge my light, my battery. So, and you can also reach me at on my email address. It is Brewington, BREWINGTON .David DAVID @yahoo.com.
Yes, yes.
And I also have a Facebook page in which you can look at the apparel, and you can see my mission statement, and it tells the story of you, Serum. And again, I would like to give acknowledgement, and respect to Ray Grand Enterprises, because they have been an intricate part of both my success. Shameless plug for my brother Robert Brewington, Adaptive Parish. Ray has been very, 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 very. He has tutored us, gave us baptism by fire, given us a wealth of knowledge that most people don't dare to share. And I appreciate and love him for everything that he's done, because he's a intricate part of our success. I mean, we put in the hard work, but he serves as an example. He's such an ambassador of positivity, and when it seems like that you're hitting the wall, all you got to do is talk to him, and he shows you how to pick another way to either get over the obstacle or go around it, or sometimes if you have to go through it. But like I said, you've been a good example for me and Robin, and you continue to do it. Like I said, I continue to try to ascend to greater levels, and I'm watching and I'm paying good attention, and you are a great teacher.
Appreciate you, good brother. Appreciate you, good brother. Mm-hmm. You guys heard it from David Brewington, CEO and founder of USERM. Thank you for listening. And we always do an attitude of gratitude. We thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Done for us and everything he continued to do for us and bless us with all these great virtues and gifts. So we thank you guys and we thank you for listening. Until next time, this is the Ray Grant Show. This is your host, Ray Grant. Till next time. Thanks for listening. If you like something that you heard, please leave a review. Oh, one more thing.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Love y'all.